Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Head Start Warner Brothers 100th Anniversary DC crossover with Looney Tunes box set. This consists of Wiley Coyote as Batman, the Tasmanian Devil as the Flash, and then Bugs Bunny also as Batman. I have never heard of this company, Head Start. These figures are 7-inch scale, pretty goofy, but that's part of the charm. I ordered this set from figurineforall.com. It's a Canadian website. I'm sure they'll be popping up in the US very soon. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, got a little warning. Ages 5+, Warner Brothers 100th Anniversary, Tasmanian Devil, Wiley Coyote, and Bugs Bunny. Looks like they're limited edition figures. Looks like they made a run of 20,000, which is a pretty high number. One side of the package, not much going on. Other side, not much either. On the back, you can see the 3 different figures. Some pretty cool display options here. And then there's also some Harry Potter stuff, which didn't really interest me. Bottom, got a bunch of credits, like I said. Head Start. And there's the barcode, in case that helps anybody. So no further ado, let's open it up. And as always, I did get 2 of these sets, one of which you open and enjoy, and the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. I also got the single release of these figures. I only got one of those to keep unopened, as they're exactly the same as what comes in the 3-pack, giving me a nice haul of these Warner Brothers, Looney Tune, and DC crossover figures. Kind of a cool idea, kind of a dumb idea, but I just had to pull the trigger. And this is not the first time they've made Looney Tunes and DC crossover figures. Here's Bugs Bunny as Batman, and LeBron James as Robin. Really weird and cool action figures. Alright, now that these figures out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. They don't come with any traditional accessories, simply a collector's card with a little stand to put it into. And those are not actual accessories, at least not to me. So this action figure set is absolutely ridiculous. I really don't have any use for this in my action figure collection. Normally I would pass on something like this, or maybe get it to keep in the box and not bother getting a loose copy. But what intrigued me about these, they're 7-inch scale, they're fully articulated, and they're just so kind of goofy and crazy that they're kind of cool. It just sort of works, and they're scaled up to almost work with my existing action figure collection. Bugs Bunny, the Tasmanian Devil, and Wiley Coyote, all as DC characters. Now, I really just wanted to get Bugs Bunny and Wiley Coyote both as Batman. Thought that was kind of cool. Tasmanian Devil, just a little bonus there in the 3-pack. I don't actually really need, and frankly, I almost don't even want him. But it'll be kind of funny to pull him out during some flash comparisons here and there. The real meat and potatoes here are the Batman figures. And it's weird to say that, but yeah, 2 more Batman figures to add to my collection. Bugs Bunny is in a more modern-looking Batman, and then Wiley Coyote in a more traditional, classic-looking Batman suit. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures individually. We'll check out their accessories, height, and articulation. Let's go ahead and start off with Bugs Bunny as Batman. Before I take a look at the figures, let's go ahead and look at these collector's cards. Each character has one. Bugs Bunny, the Tasmanian Devil, and then the Coyote. Each one is sort of numbered. As you can see, this is number 532 of 20,000. So they made a lot of these figures. I mean, it's a limited run, but definitely not that limited. I can't imagine these are going to be that good sellers. On the back side, certificate of authenticity. Nothing too special going on. They also come with these little sort of holders or stands for the cards. Here, each of these cards into their stands. Could look good staying next to the figure. I'm not really big into these sort of cards on display type stuff. So here's a look at Bugs Bunny as Batman. Like I said before, he's in a more modern Batman suit. Black and gray. I just look at him, I want to say, "What's up, Doc?" I wish I had a large character for this guy to hold. Now, I say they're 7-inch scale, but if you look at this guy, yeah, he's 7 inches tall, but I wouldn't say 7-inch scale. I imagine an actual Bugs Bunny to be with your 7-inch scale figures would be quite a bit shorter. Still, if I were to have Bugs Bunny as Batman, I would want him to be about 7 inches tall to stand with the rest of my figures. It's cool, it's crazy, it's kind of dumb, and that's part of the charm. So let's take a look. His face here, he's got signature Bugs Bunny ears, big smile, the eyes, it all looks just the way it should. bat symbol, black, gray, no oval, yellow belt, black trunks. Now he does have articulation. He's got an ab crunch, waist swivel, single jointed elbows, single jointed knees. It's actually kind of impressive. The back here, you can see his tail. Nice little attention to detail. I mean, it looks good. Kind of basic, goofy, but I mean, that's what it's intended to be. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. The shape of the face and head is perfect. Paint job is almost good everywhere except for the pupils. Arguably the most important part. They're not symmetrical, they're a little off, and it's bothering the hell out of me. It looks just kind of bad. I also notice his paint is very glossy. Light is shining off it like crazy. That being said, it's still Bugs Bunny as Batman. I do want to complain about the quality control in this guy. Not familiar with this company, but not impressed. Beyond the eyes that are not painted evenly and don't exactly match, he's got a little bit of paint chipping at the top. You can see that white speck there. In addition to that, his knee here keeps sort of going inside, and it's already sort of starting to crack a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see that. Very frustrating. As a whole, pretty underwhelmed and unimpressed. I never needed this to begin with. Thought, maybe it'd be kind of cool. It's about the size that I collect, but not feeling it. In addition to that, quality issues. Like I said, it's starting to crack a little bit in the knee area there. And I'm being a little nitpicky, but it keeps sort of just going back in, or it's sunk a little too far, and it's just making it a little bit worse. I've only had this guy for a little bit, and it's already starting to develop that way. Can only imagine what it'll be like over time. Now they've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his lack of accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 6.6 inches tall, which can translate to just under 17 centimeters. And if you go to the top of the ears, about 8.4 inches tall. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head here. Now his ears are actually articulated, ball joints that can go every which direction, side to side, front and back. Nicely done. Head also on a ball joint, rotate from side to side, forward and back. Tilt a little bit from side to side. Shoulders also on a ball joint. Goes up about 90 degrees, up, down, around. Single jointed elbow. Goes in 90 degrees with rotation. The wrist can rotate, and it is hinged. Traditional ab crunch, forward and back, kind of unnecessary. Waist swivel, legs, ball joints, completely do splits. Kind of loose from that point of view. They go forward an absolute ton, and his feet look really stupid, way big. Back, pretty good amount, but the cape's going to obstruct that. He's got a thigh cut here. Single jointed knee goes back only a little bit like that. It goes forward too much, and that stresses and is really starting to, crack on both sides here. Ankle, forward and back. And that's about it. You get the rotation up in the thigh, and that's it. Kind of basic articulation, but you don't really need a super articulated Bugs Bunny as Batman. Now to look at Wiley Coyote as Batman. This is a more traditional Batman. Light blue, gray. He's got the yellow oval around the bat symbol there. Old school utility belt. Face, a little bit smushed. He has an expression with his eyebrows. Giant fat cheeks, you just want to pinch them. He's got a cape here, a little bit wrinkled. It's actually shaped very nicely, and it has these little holes inside that attach to his forearm here, and he can outstretch his cape. That should be pretty cool. Giant feet, a little bit sort of longer, but not as giant as Bugs Bunny's, my word. Backside here, he's got a much longer tail. Looks like it's minimally articulated. Similar articulation to the other one. Single jointed elbows, knees. Not too impressive. Just a nice goofy Looney Tunes character. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Not really seeing the same sort of quality issues I was seeing on Bugs Bunny. Similar glossy paint. Not quite as shiny on this one though. Big giant snout, look at that thing. He does have this one action feature, and that's to outstretch his cape in a sort of Batman fashion. Looks pretty good like this. The package shows him with his arms even higher up, but it just stretches cape and doesn't look quite as good like that. Now to check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 7.0 inches tall, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And if you go to the top of the ears, about 7.5 inches tall. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head, you can rotate side to side. Can look up, not at all, down a little bit. Can't really tilt his head very much, a little bit. Shoulders on a ball joint, they go up way more than 90 degrees. That's going to be for different poses with his cape, I guess. Up, down, around. Single jointed elbow, goes in about 90 degrees with rotation. His wrist can rotate and is going to be hinged. The ab crunch again, forward and back. Waist swivel. He's got ball joint hips, go out all the way 90 degrees. Forward, about that far. Back, not much. He's got the thigh cut again. Single jointed knee. Then his ankle, forward and back. And of course, his tail moves the tiniest bit side to side. Now let's check out the Tasmanian Devil as a Flash. I guess it kind of makes sense. He's got that tornado thing. Although Flash typically sort of symbolized by lightning. Anyway, he's much shorter than the other ones. He's got the red suit, lightning bolts around it. Same with on his sort of head here, although doesn't have an old bucket helmet. Flash logo at the front here. Kind of looks like the Barry Allen Flash, at least the suit. It's kind of cool. Tasmanian Devil is usually just a brainless guy going around destroying everything. He's got his tornado here, a little bit of sort of dust at the bottom. A lot more basic than the other ones. Notice his lightning bolts are articulated. That's mildly interesting. Expression's okay. I don't know, the likeness just seems a little bit worse for him. I can tell who he is overall, but his face, I don't know, it's just not really screaming Tasmanian Devil to me. Maybe it's just because of the Flash outfit. I don't know. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Now for his height. From bottom to the top of his head, about 4.3 inches tall. Going to translate to about 11 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head. Lightning bolts are articulated. They look really dumb when they're down, so I'm not sure why that's even a thing. He's got no articulation in his head, neck, any of that stuff. He's got a little bit of ball joint down here. Kind of rotate around, forward and back. Shoulders, ball joint, go way up high. Up, down, around. Single jointed elbow, goes in 90 degrees. Rotation, his wrist, rotate. Hinged, although mine is completely stuck. Other side here, that one is working. I'll have to use some hot water, free that thing up. Beyond that, not much else. He's a much more basic figure than the two Batman figures. Here's Wiley Coyote as Batman, sitting and typing at the back computer. He's articulate enough to do this. And Bugs Bunny, not so much. That plastic cape really interferes. Yeah, I can push him down on the chair, but he just sort of bounces right back out. Here's a look at both versions of Batman on a rooftop overlooking Gotham City. Now let's check them out. Next is some of their action figures, and we'll start off by checking out the Flash. Here's the Tasmanian Devil as the Flash, next to a couple of McFarlane DC Multiverse Barry Allen Flash figures. Then, here he is next to a couple of DC Direct and DC Collectibles Flash figures. And now, next to a couple of Mattel Flash figures. Here's Wiley Coyote as Batman, in the blue and gray bat suit, yellow oval on top of the bat symbol, next to several different McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, also all in the blue and gray suit, yellow oval on the bat signal. Then, next to a couple of DC Direct and DC Collectibles Batman figures, also the blue and gray suit with the yellow oval. Then, next to a couple of Mattel DC Universe Classics blue and gray Batman figures. And now for Bugs Bunny as Batman. Here he is, next to several different McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures. These are all a little bit more of a modern Batman figure. They're the darker black and gray costume, no oval around the bat signal. Then, next to a couple of DC Direct and DC Collectibles black and gray Batman figures. Here he is, next to a couple of Mattel Batman figures in the black and gray suit. So overall, it's a cool idea for an action figure set, but the execution is not so good. They just look big and sort of awkward. The quality control issues are mainly on Bugs Bunny, the way his eyes are painted, the way the paint's chipping off, the way his knees are almost sort of cracking with stress marks, and then his feet. Just cannot get his feet to be flat on the ground. Can't get his knees to be even. Just can't get him to stand up properly without sort of having his knees bent backwards or sideways or something sort of stupid like that. Out of these 3 figures, Wiley Coyote is by far my favorite. I think he looks pretty good. The quality's pretty good. I like the cape. I like the action feature. I like the light blue and gray sort of superpowers type look. My next favorite is going to be Bugs Bunny, because it is Bugs Bunny's Batman, and for that he's kind of cool. And Tasmanian Devil is by far the worst of them. It's just a dumb figure that can barely move, and he's so little. Now, the only reason I got these figures was their size. I thought they could be kind of cool alongside the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, and at least that statement is true. They scale up pretty good next to those guys. But beyond that, like I said, it's a goofy idea, and that's part of the charm, but it's just pointless, and the figures themselves are nothing to write home about, that's for sure. Overpriced for what they are, that's putting it gently. If I were to rate these guys, I'm going to give the entire set probably a 4 out of 10. Wiley Coyote gets a little bit higher score individually, but as a set, they're kind of bad. Bugs gets a 4. Tasmanian Devil gets a 3. And Wiley probably gets like a 5.5. Disappointed to say the least. If I go back in time, I would not have ordered an extra set to open. I would have just ordered the 3 different sets to keep in box, put them on the shelf, and been done with it. But now I have these guys, and they will be useful in some comparison photos in the future, but that is it. Can't imagine I'm going to ever bust them out for any different action figure scenarios. Well, maybe Batmite messing around. Who knows? So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.